a knowledge series come fireside chat with Ramesh Ragineni, EVP Software Engineering, to deep dive into the product and technology development at Salesforce and how the engineers are innovating at scale to drive and identify the new ways to apply AI to various industry-specific clouds. And now we also have Muralidhar Madiredi, who will be joining as a moderator for the session, who is in his current role supports Ramesh's Industries Engineering Organization as Director of Strategy and Operations. He's based out of India and he has almost over 20 years of work experience and has been with Salesforce over 6 years now. Audience, please note, we'll have the questions and answer also taken up in the end. So please feel free to drop in your questions and we'll have them taken up by Murli later once the conversation on the fireside chat is over. Right now, without much ado, I will hand over the session to Murli to take it forward. Over to you, Murli.
Thank you so much. Very warm welcome to everybody. It's a wonderful weather outside in Hyderabad, and I see the participants count increasing by the minute. It's fantastic. So, hey Ramesh, we know that you're the global engineering leader for Salesforce Industries organization that spans across the US, India, Germany, and Australia. Can you tell us a little bit more about your background, like where you went to college, your first job, the various leadership roles that you've taken, and your journey with Salesforce?
Thank you, Murli. And first of all, I think wherever you're joining from, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And before I start, I want to start with the forward-looking statement. As a quick reminder, the Salesforce is a publicly traded company, and customers should, not customers, anybody who joined this should make any decisions based on the product and services availability. And before I go and answer Murli, I think I want to thank everyone who joined this session. And I hope by end of this session, you'll have some good takeaways. And I'm hoping that some interesting questions once we finish the conversation with Murli and I. And Murli, answer your question. I think obviously any typical Indian engineer always starts here, and the dream is always going to the tech industry. And my journey started in mid-90s, and as I finished my schooling, moved to Singapore. I started my journey there, and in 2000, I decided to move to US for my expanded role at a company called iLog, which is a French company. Now it's acquired by IBM in 2007. So went there, been in the Valley since 2000, almost 23 years. When I look back, it's a pretty long journey, which looks like a 30 years plus. I've been in Valley. I've seen all the dot-com booms, all the way the transformation, what happened today. But just a net going to Valley and doing my master's, starting working and as well as doing schooling for master's is one of the biggest accomplishments when I look back. And my journey in the corporate world, especially in the enterprise, started mid-90s, and evolution of how the private cloud to public cloud strategy, how it's evolved. I think I'm really look back and feel myself proud that I've been in the generations of how technology evolved. And my first management role was very interesting, how one day my manager comes and tells me, look, Ramesh, you've been IC, now it's a time for you to start taking a management role. I was not sure what does it mean, and that's how I evolved. I think when I look back, the way I took that journey as a management role and looking back now, yes, it was a natural transition, but at the same time, there's a lot of good lessons. There's a lot of good reflections. There's a lot of always look back and learn what I've learned and apply. Not just apply, always look for something, how I can contribute back to this community while I enjoy what I do at Salesforce.
Thank you, Ramesh. I think you have an infectious energy when it comes to giving back to the community. Thank you for leading us from the front on that. I know you've been here for quite some time at Salesforce. At least I've seen you for the past 6-7 years. Do you want to talk about your journey with Salesforce, and what is it about Salesforce culture that you admire?
See, for me, I've been here for 7.5 years now, Murli. I think since 2016, March, I joined Salesforce. Just looking at the growth, how it's grown, in the last 7 years plus. What attracted me and what inspires me every day is the core value system. I think before I go into the core value system, I just want to show um, how the company has grown significantly to get to a FY24 guidance of 34 billion. I myself personally experienced how from 7 billion revenue all the way to 31.4 billion revenue, 3x plus in a billions. Growth in the short period of 7 years is incredible. And this graph, the way you see from FY13 all the way to FY24, just naturally how the curve is going up and up, and not just at 34.8 billion as a guidance for FY24. Then in the next couple of years, Salesforce is going to be a $50 billion business. So in enterprise world, any company, in my experience, hitting to 20 years, either they don't know how to scale to further, or they get stagnant, or they decline. And here we are, Salesforce's organization is just looking like a hockey stick growth. And the graph, what you see now itself tells who we are. We are most innovative company, philanthropy-wise, we have a very good core value system, which is very close to my heart. And then world most ethical company. I think, how do you see as an enterprise company like Salesforce getting in so much innovation, so much giving back to community, and being the best in ethics? Still the trajectory is just going. It's incredible. And it just fascinates me every time when I get up and think about how the company is growing. Now, the core value system, if you need to really, really take something out of Salesforce, what is so special, this is what it is. I still remember post-pandemic, we had an offsite in Hawaii. Mark was talking, which is a very powerful statement. Last 23 years, everything changed. World changed, people changed, technology changed. One thing at Salesforce did not change is core value system. The trust, customer success, innovation, and equality were the first four core values when Mark and Parker started this company in 1999. And looking back, retaining this core value is not that easy, but that's a special about this company, Salesforce. And then we recently added sustainability. Giving back is so important. We take it so seriously at Salesforce. And sustainability, everybody knows world is just changing. Climate conditions are changing. We all have a responsibility to make sure, how do we contribute back? And we have done amazing projects, but this is the 5 core values today at Salesforce. That's a very unique about Salesforce is this core value system. Everything we do here falls into this 5 core value system. Every day I measure what I do at Salesforce connects the dots to these 5 core value systems. So I can sit here for next 1 hour. I can talk about all the 5 core values, what it means to me, what it means to company. Anyone outside of the company, just thinking like a friend, thinking like somebody where sharing my experience, I can tell you nobody will go wrong joining Salesforce. It's the best company. No humans are perfect. No company is perfect. No world is perfect. So here we are, one of the best company. Nobody will go wrong. That's my experience being at Salesforce for the last 7.5 years. Now, do you want me to stop here, Murali, or do you want me to go further on this question?
No, go on, Ramesh. I think, I've experienced this myself time and again. I know how decisions get taken around this core value system, but please do take a couple of minutes more.
Yeah, see, obviously trust is very important for us here at company, and it is internal. Keeping our transparency within employees within the company, plus also keeping the transparency with the customers and partners is very important. That's where it starts. Trust is a super important core value system here at Salesforce. Customer success, obviously, we prioritize our customer success very, very high. In fact, trust and customer success goes in hand. Success and the customers, how we need to take them with the power of innovation, what we do in the last 24 years. We take everything most relevant, most easy way, integrated and scalable, and the global products, what we develop, giving fast time to the market and to the customers. that's where the first two goes in hand, and the third one just follows automatically, because when you keep the trust value, both internal and external, when you're taking care of the customers, how you need to deliver, how you need to take care of their success, the innovation always comes automatically, because you're delivering everything fast time to the market, fast time to the customers, and that relevance and really bring a lot of products, our commitment to customers with the trust value just comes in naturally, organically. That's what I've seen in the last 7.5 years, how innovation just evolved. And it's still evolving so much with all the Gen AI coming in. It's incredible to see how the innovation is happening, especially in the last 1 year. Post-pandemic, we are really, the trajectory is so huge. And I'll cover some of the aspects of what it means to us, what it means to our customers. And obviously, equality is such an important core value system. Again, it's more than 2 decades we've been following, preaching and following, and making sure we are impactfully contributing back to this equality. We committed to creating a most equal world and believe we are most powerful working together. Meaning, equality is a very broader term, and we take it very seriously at Salesforce. As I said, sustainability is, everything rest, stable climate. We all have our responsibility individually, as a company, as a society, as a world. We think we are very, very in the time of giving back to sustainability. And in fact, we are so proud at Salesforce, we also created a carbon emission product called Net Zero, which is part of our industry portfolio. And we also giving back, while we're giving back to sustainability, we also giving a carbon footprint emission product to customers where they're really, really seeing the big value out of it. So these are all 5 core value system. I don't want to just hang up on this. And then since we talked about core value, is there extension to this, Murli, or do you want me to pause and then wait for your next question?
Yeah, we're going to come back on that, Ramesh. I think, we can sit and talk for hours on these core values and how they play a huge role. But the audience here probably don't know about the Salesforce Industries Cloud, which is the secret sauce for Salesforce and the crown jewel. Could you tell us a little bit more about the history, the current, and the future of Industries Cloud?
Yeah, I'll break your question into 2 sections, Murli. One is, I also want to talk what you see on the left side of the circle, customer in the middle, and all the clouds, whether you take sales, service, marketing, commerce, Tableau, MuleSoft, platform, Slack, industries, and the portfolio of 24 years of origin, more than 2 decades of our products. Most of our products are leaders in the market. I want to start there first. And if you take most of the clouds, we are leaders consistently in the market. It is not something we say, it's what market really tells us. What we do consistently, being the leaders is not easy, especially in the enterprise market. So now pivoting towards the industry is evolved roughly 8 years ago. We decided as a company to invest on vertical products. And I was really fortunate to be part of the journey. I joined when industry was a very much an incubation world, where I had only 15 engineers in my pocket. I started developing financial services cloud and health cloud are the 2 products. And that's how the journey started, with 15 engineers. And today, fast forwarding 2023, and we are really fortunate to look back and feel proud of 13 products we developed. And all the 13 products, if you see on the right side of the column, whether it's take communication cloud, education cloud, financial services, health and life science, we recently announced life science cloud, manufacturing and media tech, nonprofit, public sector, retail. So this is the products we have really organically built, while we also acquired 3-4 products from our partner called Velocity. We acquired 3.5 years ago, and they're part of our portfolio now. So sky's the limit for industries, and we have now 13 products in our portfolio. And essentially, enterprise, in my opinion, 8 years ago, one of the reasons I joined, enterprise at that level, you build one product and you take it to every industry and you customize how you want to customize. By the time you customize, by the time you deliver to a customer, requirements already changed. Now that's a journey. With that mindset, we started verticals. I think verticals is the future. Every industry customer wants to see their specific data model, their user experience, and that's how we are building these vertical businesses. And we are the leaders in the market. And the journey just doesn't pause here. The sky is the limit. We still have to build more products. And we work like a scrappy team. And last 7 years plus, the mentality of scrappiness and understanding the customers by vertical, building these successful products in a short period with a big success, it's an incredible, I would say, incredible.
Thank you, Ramesh, for that background. And shifting gears a little bit, I think, early this year, all the generative AI discussion and products and the LLM-based models took the world by storm, literally, right? And how are you seeing this in the context that there's a lot of optimism in certain pockets, and there's a lot of skepticism from an enterprise trust standpoint? Like, how do you see this change the way Salesforce builds and delivers innovative products for our customers?
God, I don't know how I can really shorten an answer for you, but I'll try my best, okay? We knew way back in 2014 that AI is going to be our game changer, fundamentally changing the customer relationships. We also established so much of in-house research. Just this slide, what all of you as audience, you can see clearly how many, how the innovation evolved from 2014 all the way to 2023. I'm not going to name everything, just look at some of the innovations and research, plus the products what we developed, including the powered by our platforms, just incredible. And just on the right side of the column, you can see the research of 227 research papers we have written, and we have filed 300 patents, AI patents. And most important is the level of intensity today on the AI in general. On top of the CRM, we are already an AI CRM as a company. And whether you take from Foundation AI research team, how we built in 2014, whether you take Salesforce Einstein platform, how we built it. In fact, in 2018, we were very early to start ethical and human usage. What it's been to ethical, we created ethical office, and today ethics in AI, on top of AI is very important. It includes the compliances. Now with the power of data cloud, which again, it's a very broader aspect, combination of data cloud with Gen AI, we are just powered up. So Jenny just not started here, like it started way, way, way beyond, like 2014. And I want to take a pause here and cover more in details in the next sections. But Uber level, this is what I want to say to start with. We are already AI CRM because we predicted this is going to come in and dominate in enterprise market. That's why we started our journey in 2014. Whether you take from wave 1 to all the way to wave 4, what you have seen in the previous slide is just a journey of a very busy year over year, how we have grown and innovated. And these are all the 4 waves we went through, whether it's predictive to generative, autonomous and agents, and artificial general intelligence. So that's where we are. I think there's a lot of things are happening, especially Gen AI just quickly transformed so big. And we have not even seen even internet this fast. I think now the way that Gen AI is picked up, it's when we look back, we are very proud how we anticipated in 2014 all these waves, and we are almost doing 1 trillion predictions on our platform for our customers. So there's a very powerful story when it comes to innovation, when it comes to Gen AI, and in general AI at Salesforce. Now, just taking back how the last 25 years, a journey when you take from since 1999 all the way to 2023, as I mentioned before, and we transformed in 2016, all the way to data cloud to Gen AI in 2022 to 23. I think the biggest intersection at Salesforce when it comes to innovation with the Gen AI is transformed from 2022 to the completely next level, because obviously nobody even imagined Gen AI will just come in just few months, and it changed the game completely in the market. And we are glad that the foundation established happened in 2014. And if you just look at it, enterprise market in general, I think we are far ahead of the game. And we are the world number one data we hold on our platform when it comes to enterprise, and the type of data we can train very quickly. And that's the power of how we evolved our journey. Take every cloud here on the slide, though it's a busy slide, every cloud now is powered by AI. And that's how we are taking our journey, and still there's a lot to do for us on the AI side.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Ramesh. And I'm sure in your conversations with customers, this is like the front and center conversation around AI. Moving on, you mentioned about the word platform. So, a lot of our attendees today are developers, and if someone is new, how would you describe our tech stack at Salesforce?
No, I will just talk about the initial. I don't have a slide to show. I don't want to make it this as a slideshow. We have a power of the platform. It's evolved since 1999. That's I call it the mothership. I think that's where our core platform resides. That's where our orchestration layer sits. On top of every cloud is built, powered by our core platform. And each cloud is also like a platform by itself, because every feature, if you take Sales Cloud has capabilities, Service Cloud will be using, Service Cloud has the capabilities, Sales Cloud will be using. Same thing with so many permutation combinations. So every product is a cloud by itself, is a platform by itself, still underneath powered by our core platform capabilities. And where I want to take next 2-3 minutes to talk about is, because it's a Gen AI world we live in, I want all the engineers to think Gen AI in general is a very broader topic. If I have to give one feedback, one suggestion, one recommendation to all the audience, think data first and how the data shapes before you apply the Gen AI. Meaning, you build your foundation strong on the data first, how your backend process happens, how your data resides, how your data shapes exist, how you want to really use what type of data at what level. And that's where I want to take this moment and talk about data sources on the left side of the column, where all your data sources comes in, whether it is APIs or SDKs or even enterprise data, wherever it's coming from, that's your source of data. And then when you connect the data, whether it's a batch ingestion, streaming, or metadata driven, or live data tables querying, that becomes the next layer. Then how your CI/CD is going to look like. Are you doing a batch pipeline? Are you doing a stream pipeline? Data cleansing, and all these sits on top of the your connect data model, and then followed by your data model, whether it's canonical, whether it is data streams, whatever relationship data models you have, that's where on top sits. And then from there, action speaks. Then you can put your models, you can put your prompts. I'll also take the opportunity to talk about some of the prompt sections, and then the model comes. Whatever models you want to build the models, and then anything you process through the model, that's where action happens. So that's where act happens, meaning the output of all these layers, how it goes from data sources to all the way to unification. The output of the data, however you predict, however you want to analyze, however you want to generate the output, you take it anywhere you want to. I think my point here is, when you think about from screen of user experience all the way down, you also have to see as an engineer full stack, not just at a UI layer. Meaning you need to see where the data started and how it come into your world. From there, how it process the data and how you analyze the data, how you predict the data, how you generate the data, Until then, you need to know every step of the steps. Very important. If you don't visualize this backend process, no matter how much you do on top, no matter what sophisticated AI you use, what type of gen prompting you want to use, it won't be highly impactful. So if you want to become successful engineer in your world, in your career, it's important to go all the way to the downstream. If you understand the downstream very well, you can be very successful engineer on the front end. So I thought I'll just show this particular visual diagram to make everybody understand that each of these layers you need to understand. And if you don't understand, go back to class, go back to school, and invest yourself, train yourself. There's plenty of online classes, plenty of schools where you can go back to basics. I'll give you another example. The distributed systems we all studied in school. And today, as an engineer, full stack engineer, if you don't understand distributed systems, it's very hard for you to be a successful engineer because its future is all about data. Now, you don't understand the data shapes. Anything you do at the end result with the user experience standpoint, it just becomes very impactful, less impactful. So invest, you take one of my recommendation is invest on yourself. Don't think you're a front-end engineer, back-end engineer. Now it's a full stack as a future. And you're not a full stack engineer, it becomes very hard for you to be successful. Even if you transition from IC to manager, regardless whether you're manager or IC, you need to know the data. You need to know the AI. And that's the world we are entering in now. We don't have choice. I think this is how the products will be built. This is how the enterprise market will be going forward. Lengthy answer, Murli. I hope you got some insights of how, as an engineer, we should be thinking.
Absolutely. Thanks for that mental model, how to think about the technology landscape, Ramesh. I think quite often, especially when you're young in the career, it's easy to get distracted with all the new and shiny things. But thanks for emphasizing what really matters in the long run. I think, having observed you up close several times, I've seen that, you emphasize quite a bit about, going back to the learning roots of learning, right? And you spend quite a bit of time, be it an individual contributor, be it a manager, uh, you have a way to think about, how to invest in self. Do you want to talk about, how you are helping the larger organization reinvest in the employees and grow this year?
Yeah, this is a great question. See, for me, I always believe investing yourself, investing on the organization, investing on the team, whether you're IC, whether you're a manager. If you chose to be in this path of technology, you need to shape your knowledge based on what customer wants. It's not about what you want, what customer wants. So today, as I said a few minutes ago, Gen AI just transformed all of a sudden. Just in 2-3 months, it just polluted with so much in a good way. And we have never seen this type of fast-paced technology just coming and dominating. And this is where I personally spend a lot of my time educating myself. And I love reading books, and I love getting up to speed of every inch by inch, every ounce by ounce, whenever I get a time with my busy day-to-day of my job. But we need to make the time to invest on ourselves. The best way I would say, whether it's a sports person or a technology person, there's no difference. There's always a new way to learn the new techniques in sports, to get optimized way to be a smarter and good sportsman. And same thing, if you want to be a best technologist, you need to know, invest yourself. And there's a lot of reimagination happening. And I always believe, even though whether you're a mid-level engineer, a junior engineer, or senior engineer, there's always some rusty topics. Whether you take AI-related topics, where you need to sharpen your pencil, you need to, because in my opinion, today, no matter whether you're an AI engineer, non-AI engineer, you're an AI manager, non-AI manager, it's important to go back to learn data science. It's important for you to learn AI. It's important to go and learn machine learning. So these are all basic fundamentals. in future, if you don't have these skills, it becomes very hard for you to be successful in your journey. So I take my time, not only myself, also how engineers in such a large ecosystem in my organization, I always push them to go to best schools, enjoy the learning journey. When you're a student, you look at more as academics, but when you are already working, you enjoy because you visualize more and you learn more in a different format way. So I can tell you, especially Gen AI just come and took over. And if I just look back, in fact, I was talking today in one of the design conference where I was telling all the designers, I think now the day how it used to be in the designer's world before, now it's different. The reason is the data and designer is combining now. In other words, if you're just a designer, it's no longer is enough now. I think they need to understand the data. Because if you see, I've been insisting data, because that's how the world is going to revolve. So designer, just having a design alone is not sufficient in their career. They need to learn the data shapes. They need to learn the data patterns. They need to learn how the data flowing in order for them to be a good prompting designers. Prompting is very, very smart way of doing user experience. So I'm just taking that as an example, how we need to reimagine our knowledge, how we need to invest. I'm a big believer on this. And I always tell people, go and invest on yourself for the skill schools.
Thank you.
So that's the lengthy, but net, don't stop investing yourself. That's your protein. I think you need to put a good investment for yourself if you want to look back and feel proud in your journey of your career.
That's great. Thank you so much, Ramesh, for that. I think it's very rare. I wish I had this kind of mentoring and guidance early on in my career, and I hope I had invested more. So thanks for that. Now let's hear some fun things about you. Like, how do you recharge when you're taking time off? Do you have a favorite destination, country, or city? Like, what do you do?
Murli, if you don't mind, I will pause that question. And I really want, because it's a AI related, I could not resist how important one area I would like to cover, if you don't mind. Do you think you have time for me to another 3 minutes to talk about
some time? Please go ahead.
So for me, the one more aspect I want to bring it here is the prompting engineering. There's a lot of buzz is going on the prompting side, how the prompt works and how prompting is so important going forward, how you're going to process the data, how you want to bring the prompting is going to be the new world. And if I have to give some elements here, obviously there's something called the natural language prompting, there's a guided prompting, templatized prompting, and prompting chain. All these prompts are just evolving as we speak. Every day you wake up, prompting reimagination is happening. And as an engineer, user experience used to be one angle before, but now prompting is going to become more and more naturally. Every product is going to be powered by prompting, because Gen AI just dictates how we are going to shorten the cycle of how we used to build the features before, but now it's going to be different. Because the prompting is just changing the enterprise market, not just enterprise, whether it's take B2B or B2C, consumer side, or even enterprise driven, every aspect prompting becomes very common. So when you take prompting, since I mentioned about natural language side, the way, let me take an example of when before prompting exists, a doctor pulling the data as a patient data has to go through, a doctor has to go through 4 different places. Open this file, open that file, do that reading and do this reading. By the time the doctor finishes reading between multiple places, I don't think he or she will have a good dimension of effective system. But now prompting in a natural language way, just going to bring in so much. Let me take the same example of patient information read or analyzed by the doctor. And now in the new prompting world, all doctor has to say just few lines of text as a prompt, the doctor has a nice patient information. So that's the power how our lusted, and it takes a lot of time for them to go and do this type of process. So now with guided prompting, just a student has to answer 3 or 4 questions, like what type of topics, what type of subjects they want to take, based on the subjects, based on the profile of that student. And LLM can really come back processing that data and recommend not only whether those subjects are good, also it tells what type of career that student is going to do after finishing that courses. So we've gone to that extent of dynamically, where as a student sitting on researching what type of classes I need to take in my college, which is going to take a big duration, now just simplified into a very small minutes and less than an hour, where you get not only a recommended model, also it tells you what you're going to become after this. Maybe I'll tell you an example. Maybe my profile, my mark sheets, everything is already been profiled. Because I'm selecting now math and science, maybe my math and science is not good based on my past history. Now, a guided prompting will say, hey, Ramesh, based on your previous profiles, your mark sheets, I think you will not do good in this. My recommendation is this subjects. So that way your chance of you becoming this person after your school will be much higher than you taking these courses. So that type of guided prompting is going to change the world now completely. Now, if you take prompt chaining again is a different dynamic way of creating. Let's take one joke, and then let's take one, convert that into poem, and then that poem will convert into story. So you see the chain, the joke on monkey, and that's monkey joke will convert into a kind of a poem, and then that entire poem and the monkey joke will translate into a story. Jenny, I will just give you. So you are entering into this world. That means, I'm stressing again, data and prompting becomes your future. If you think of where you're thinking, okay, I want to be a front-end engineer, I want to be a back-end engineer. No, you don't have that choice now. In order for you to be a front-end, you need to be strong in back-end. In order for you to be a strong in back-end, you need to be a front-end too. So that's a level of world we are going to get in to go into that powerful world. I think it's exciting, but my key element here in this is invest. Invest on yourself. Go and take the classes. Go and learn something new, where next 15, 20 years, this is our future. This is our future. Templatizing. How many times you and I have to sit down and create an org structure, which takes like 10 different cycles back and forth between you and me. But now all I have to do is templatize, just, go and just define your structure how you want. And you already have information about your org. It just goes and gives you a dynamic way of your org, which used to take a couple of hours. Now it takes less than 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And same thing, if you want to go and pitch the deck, if you're a startup innovator where you want to go and pitch your deck to your investor, you can generate now with your data. And how the pitch of the deck, you don't need to put so much of effort. System will generate automatically the pitch deck for you. So that's the level of world we are going to be in. That last one, I think this is such a fascinating topic. We are all in the world of now being organic, being healthy, and food habits are changing. Now, before, if I have to go and eat something, if I'm conscious about my diet, I just have to go and see the menu in the restaurant. Then I have to search on the Google and say, hey, is this my food is good? Is my calories are good? Is it good for my sugar? Is it good for my all the cholesterol? Everything is just a process. But now you just take a picture. You just take a picture of your food, what you want to eat. And then based on your profile, it tells you, hey, Ramesh, you already healthy sugar levels, cholesterol level. I think the calories what you're using is good. Oh, if my sugar levels, cholesterols are not good based on my profile, then it tells me, hey, you should not be eating this type of food. So now the restaurants are going to be doing this type of prompting to the customers. So this is like, we can go on. In fact, doctors now, in order to research or analyze the patient, it takes days, depending on the complexity of the patient. Today, you can just tell your LLM to go and read research papers, multiple research papers, and come back and provide a recommendation on the patient. So this is the world when we are entering into. You can imagine how much your user experience, your data processing, what used to be done before, but now is completely game changer. And I hope all these examples I'm trying to give the current world and future world, I hope audience are able to visualize what it means. So I'll stop here. And then now your question is, what do I do? I'm a big believer of when you have a very rough day or when you have a lengthy day, I think you need to know how to um, uh, relax yourself. I think I'm not saying whatever it works for me, it works for other people. I think we all have to really, end of the day, we have to recharge. We have to really relax. We should know how to calm down ourselves. And for me, I have a different habits I have developed in my life. And sometimes when I want to really go for a run, I go for long runs. And these days I stopped running long runs and I only do a couple of miles. Then I love cooking. Whenever I want to charge myself and reset my button, that's a good relaxation. And I love when I'm on the road, I love to go. And now during the pandemic time, I think world definition has changed for me, because before going to any new place, it excites me. But now I know what I want when I go for any places I want to visit. I don't like the fancy cities. I love to go into historical places where I can just sit in a place, 700 years old, 600 years old villages, just reflect back and see how the world 600 years ago versus now. So there's a lot of things I do. And at that time, whatever my mind and body says, I just do it, whether it's reading the books, going for a run, going for the gym, or travel, or be myself. And there's a plenty of ways I handle my charging myself when I'm getting tired.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that, Ramesh. I think the earlier response that you gave, I think that's phenomenal. I think you captured everyone's imagination with those 5 different use cases that you gave across health, cloud, education, and other areas. So thanks for that. I know we're probably just on time, but maybe I'll squeeze in one more question. You spent quite a bit of time in India with our customers. You have a huge footprint in our organization in India. And a lot of things are happening, exciting things in terms of India tech stack. Anything for the audience, because predominantly it's based out of India, that you want to say?
What excites me is in India, the digital world is really shaping up in a different level. I think economic growth is very fast, and the complexity is when you have 1.3 billion population, I think it's a different world here now. What I see, just wearing engineering hat, if I can solve any volume and scaling problems in India, we can go and solve anywhere in the world problems, in any technological problems. So if I'm just a fresh engineer now, I just stay back in India and solve all these complex problems. You take every platform, whether it is consumer platform or enterprise platform, especially digital world is just booming out. Next 5 to 7 years, you'll see more and more big jump in terms of innovation, in terms of India stack, because the beauty in India is the population is so large. The complexity also is very large, and especially almost 400 million plus millennials who are less than 30 years old is transforming. And their mindsets are different. The way they do business is different than about 30 years old, about 50 years old. So when this transformation is going on, I think the humans who are in the younger age are completely reimagining the business. I mean, they love to do everything on the mobile. They love to sit in one place and do every element of shopping. and everything is virtual. So that's the world we are in, and I see a significant good problems to be solved here. And whenever I meet the customers and partners, this is exactly one of the line item I always go deeper to understand. It's incredible. It's an incredible. So one topic I want to mention like a few minutes ago, but I forgot. If you're okay, I want to bring in design thinking. And that's another element where everybody, regardless whether you're engineer, you're designer, whether you are, quality engineer, performance engineer, no matter who you are, design thinking, reimagination needed. How you look at the problem, how you look at the problem before, and how you look at the problem now is changed. The world is changed. So we, as a humans, we have a tendency to go, when there is a problem on the table, we jump to solution very quickly. We just jump to the solution very quickly. I'll also give you why we should not be jumping solution quickly. I think there is a different ways to solve the problem. And that's where the design thinking comes in. It works for you in your career. It also helps you in your personal life too, how you think any problem when you take. When I take the cell phone like this, for me, cell phone is just a cell phone. But you may not see the cell phone. You may see this device as your assistant, or you may see this as your scheduler control. And maybe somebody else will see this device as a camera because it's a very, so the way you look at every device, your thought process triggers in a different way. And that's why I always say design thinking for all the engineers is the best way for you to go back to design thinking classes. There are workshops for 1 week. There's a subject in any schools you can learn for 3 months duration, for 6 months duration. It depends on how deep you want to go in the design thinking. So I talked about, in general, all the data. If I have to summarize, I talked about the data, why it is important for all the engineers to know. I also talked about how the Gen AI is really evolved or evolving, and how user experience is changing, how the prompting is becoming one of the pervasive in future, and how all this combination is now with the design thinking element. If you apply it, you will completely think out of the box. I think that's what all of you audience in this call, to take this small section, what I just mentioned as a summary. I spoke for 50 minutes. I think in that 50 minutes, if I have to really, really condense it, invest on yourself data, data shapes, data patterns, how the data flows in and out. And there's nothing called backend system. There's nothing called front-end system. It's all one system. And it has a reverse dependency. So you need to learn both backend and front-end. And then prompting is your future. So if you don't understand the prompting, then you won't be a successful engineer. So there's a data element, there's a prompting element. That's experience layer. Both now become one single element now. So then apply the, what do you call, design thinking. Sky's the limit for you in your career.
Thank you, Ramesh, for summarizing that. So we have questions coming in from our audience. The first question is coming from Manoj. He wants to understand your thoughts about how we can make customers aware on how important AI is as part of strategy for their organization, and how Salesforce can help them in moving in the right direction.
Yeah, see, you don't want to go and just blindly apply the AI. I think you need to understand the customer data patterns. You need to understand their personas. You need to understand their business. And you also have to understand how the current business is done. Are they applied? If they're, I'm assuming they're not applied the Gen AI or AI element, and you want to go and tell the effective of AI. And when you understand their business, when you understand how they're doing current business, you can break it down into 2 sections. One, the low hanging based on the data what customer has, and the cycle it takes today, assuming that there are 3 or 4 personas where the cycle time is to process one place to another place takes like 5 hours. Take those low hanging ones, reduce that cycle. how that power of AI can really help them. When you take existing problems, show the power of AI, your step one is successful. The step two becomes, how do you enhance it? How do you bring in? So don't go and just talk about AI. You need to implement the AI. I think first explain what you understand their business, what you understand how they're using their technology, and take some of the low-hanging ones and translate them as a good, um, effective way how AI can be used. And then you enhance it, and it just becomes a journey.
Thank you for that, Ramesh. The next one is from Pallavi. She would like to know your thoughts about how blockchain and AI can work together, or rather will work together in future.
Yeah, see, blockchain in general, it's, how do I, cryptocurrency wise, financial services, if you just take, it can be widely decentralized and distributed, and public digital ledger, how you want to take the records and transactions across many different network. If you translate each record into more of the Gen AI, I think why I would say first, when you take the blockchain, understand one or two personas, how you want to take those records based, those transactions, and how do you apply the AI, figure out your persona first. And then apply it. So the way I look at it is, take the blockchain as a foundation and apply on the AI, take simple use cases and connect the dots to see how you can really bring in. Just like example I can think of is, again, in the digital ledger, where the blockchain is used, and how you could take the digital ledger and take small little things and convert that into AI and see the effective first. Because it's a very, blockchain is an extremely broader topic, and precisely just go and apply little by little in areas where you want to apply and see the effective, and then go from there.
All right, thanks for that, Ramesh. The next one is coming from Shankar. He's asking, do you think AI will always help to make successful choices as compared to human intelligence?
It's a great question. I think, obviously, humans and AI are two different worlds, but at the same time, what you could do in a couple of hours, AI can do much faster. I think how LLMs are changing the world now. I don't think, in my view, again, it can be debatable. You solve in a more effective way using AI. You're solving probably as a human, you'll come with a different thing which you never faced before. So it's an evolution. You may solve as a human, which can be solved by AI is a more smarter way. But then as a human, you will come with a different set of challenges. And it's just a journey you're going to take. And I don't know whether I answered your question, but I think my point is, I don't compare humans with AI. It's a contextual driven. But I do agree that whatever you solve today, whatever the duration you take, X problem, I'm easily, I can tell you that can reduce much faster way AI can do. But then as a human, you will figure out some of the problems which AI is not solved, and you solve it, and then you feed it to AI.
All right. The next question is coming from Altaf. He's asking, is prompt engineering a coding symphony?
Yes. What is prompt? Obviously, prompt, given a prompt, Gen AI, uses a specific model, generic model or dedicated domain model to generate what an expected response might be. And that generates the content. So obviously, yes, the answer is yes. I think it's all driven by LLMs, whether you use a common LLMs, whether you use a domain-specific LLMs. It is the new world you're getting into.
Yeah, I think we have one more question before we start wrapping up. So this one again is from Shankar. Can AI consider outliers, exceptions without previous data and still develop an effective model?
I wouldn't put it that way. I put it more like, how do you, obviously AI is kind of stack, consist of machine learning, deep learning, and generative AI. And these are all the subsets where it's interlinked. When you use this subsets of as a AI on top, essentially you as a human needs to know what type of problem you're trying to solve, and you need to provide a right level of training to your LLMs. And that's going to be iterative process. For example, if you take a medical field, there's a lot of problems accuracy wise, it's still not solved. I think it's going to be a journey. So if you're intentionally, if you're doing, then it's a different output. If you're doing unintentionally, your output will be different. So I would say go with intentional, what you're trying to do. And you will have to work with your LLM, whether it's a generic LLM or whether it's a domain specific LLM. So don't go and spend time unintentionally, spend with intention what you're trying to do.
Well said. All right. So I know, all these engineers and developers are really smart. They are investing 1 hour of their time on this Friday afternoon. So I'm going to save the best question to the last. And how does Salesforce support a career path for engineers and technologists? Do they have to become a manager at some point, or is there an ecosystem that thrives and help people grow?
At Salesforce, career paths are very seriously taken between manager and IC or manager to manager, so it doesn't matter. So we believe on investing on people. We also believe transforming the careers are very important. So investment is very, very important. So we have a internal massive ecosystem of how we train people, whether it is internal recorded sessions or whether it is internal workshops. Salesforce does. I'll tell you, we have such a good platform how you can invest to learn some of the iterative. Historically, we retained and maintaining some of the internal courses has enormous learning curve there. And then Salesforce also gives an employees X dollar amount every year to go and spend that money to invest on yourself. Plus, we have a platform, enormous platform, and we have such a huge ecosystem of our products. We also have a trailhead, and it's free. Anybody can go to trailhead.salesforce.com and really learn Salesforce platform, Salesforce products, free of cost. It's a very good gamification system. You have, you can just sit there for months and years, and there is still this, the content won't be, you won't lose the sections where you say you're done. There's a plenty of ocean content is existing there. So there's a many dimensions. One is a trailhead. Second is internal, how historically we are running and maintaining internal courses. We conduct very good workshops. We conduct excellent leadership programs. I don't think being in the valley, being in the technology for so long, and I've not seen any company like Salesforce investing on people all the way to the leadership level. We have excellent programs, whether you're a senior leader, whether you're a mid-level engineer, whether it's a fresh engineer. In fact, when we hire people, we don't really put them straight into the product. We spend almost 2 months investing on that engineer and in manager too, to make sure they get up to speed, they get investment of how historically how our platform is evolved for so long. They will learn first 2 months before we assign to the product. So I know we are out of time, Murli, and I hope this content, what you and I just went through just now, plus our conversation was meaningful for the audience. And I hope some of the recommendations, suggestions I provided to them, they will follow and invest on their careers to become successful in their careers.
Thank you so much, Ramesh. That was fantastic.